triggers. Hey everybody, this is Sarah Grace, and today I wanted to share with you my journal, which is something I just generally paint if I'm in an emotional mood or if I just want to get something down. I find it easier to paint something rather than to write something, if that makes sense. So this is what I use this for, and I also use it for just, you know, art projects, or just I want to paint something. It's not just for emotional stuff. So yeah, and I've basically got bored because a few times I filmed this video, so I just drew some stuff. Okay, so the first cover, which is this, see, which is this, and you've got some kind of paper clips on the top here to kind of make it look like a school board, some matchsticks and some acrylic paint and paper mache to make ridges stand out and stuff. Actually, this has only just been recently painted today, because I believe you should do the front cover when you start the book, the middle when you're in the middle between the book, and then the last bit when you finish the book. That's just what I do. So the actual book itself is a book from Richard Hammond's, one of Richard Hammond's books, which I didn't really like too much because it has a lot of swear language in it, and it's one of them books that you'd probably read one time but never read again. So to not waste the book, I thought I'd use it as something else, which is recycling. Okay, so what I use for painting is gloss acrylic paint. Just to point out, I don't use really expensive paints or expensive stuff. I mean, to make things glossy, I only use PVA glue, not whatever other people use. I've heard different brands. And then I got some just normal acrylic paint because the other one was glossy. And then I got this from Home Bargains, which is just acrylic paint. The only problem with acrylic paint is it can peel on this type of, you know, surface. So like at the top it started peeling, which is a bad point for me. So I might have to invest in something to just seal it all down. So yeah, I like to use bigger materials, not just paint, in this book, which is why it's quite thick. So this page looks like this, which needs to be redone. This was when I first got the book and I was bored, and I just put stuff on there, and I don't like it very much, so it needs to be redone. So there's nothing much about that one. Again, this was one that I just made something random. As you can see, the random stuff I do doesn't really look great, but then the emotional stuff has more of an edge to it. So this one was an emotional one. So you got newspaper, I guess it's more collage than I say, yeah, collage. So you got collage, typography, plastic as if you're being covered, paint, handprint. That bit kind of failed. Yeah, it's mainly typography. I mean, I tend to use white, greys and blacks in emotional stuff, like when you're angry. That's what I relate to. I can't use greens and bright colours when you're angry. It just don't work for me. And basically when I finished that, I would just like close the book and then open it again, so it would like rip down the corner, or down the sides here. And then the next one is, don't stay up. The next one is this one. This was one where I got like, this is just a typography one with some swishes, because with painting I like to make like here, like like over here you can see in shot there's like some swishes and swirls. I like to do that with a like, I'll show you. It's a bit too much of a blob, but hopefully you'll be able to see better. Like that type of a swish. I just like how the brush kind of like swirls with paint. I think it's just like really awesome. So I like to use blacks and swishes a lot in my painting, and I just think there's a lot you can do with a brush, but then there's also a lot that you can do without a brush, so I like to differ around with it. On the sides here you can see like some staples and a bow, which it isn't actually on the other side. I had to glue some pages together, and I tend to like rips and just like more of a grunge type, I guess. And then these are just random buttons and things, just so to give a bit of bit more comfort to it, because it looked a bit too rough. Like, so I added like some blue tack, some funnier words like lol, and just some typography and little things to try and make it more upbeat rather than to look depressing. So yeah. About this one, I really like the white though, especially like in areas here where it just like is washed on top. I like that a lot. And to glue these pages together, I only use this. PVA glue. That is all I use. I mean, there's what was it? There's, in colleges and schools, they use this type of PVA glue for education, and I can't think of what it's called, but it's like the liquid PVA glue, but it's from a different brand, and it is so good, like, because when you stick the pages together, they're really like thick. Like this PVA glue just like wrinkles it a bit, and it doesn't really keep it still. It still kind of feels like tissue paper. But this next one, for example, this page here is really rock solid, but it just depends, I guess, on what type of feel you want to your pages, whether you want it to be like quite more of a cardboard feel, or if you want it to be wrinkly and paper type. So this next one was a project, just something I wanted to do, rather than emotional. So I have no idea what I wanted this to be. I'm assuming something like the sun or fields. But this was meant to be a collage. You see how the glue makes it look shiny. This was just meant to be a collage. I'm out of focus. Oh gosh, paint. Yeah, so this was just meant to be a collage, whereby this area was going to have some magazine cutouts, and then this area was just painting, and this I like a lot more than that page, because I think it's more developed. Never did that one. But my teacher said, even if you don't get something finished, just leave it there, don't get rid of it, because it actually looks a lot better it being there, not completed, rather than it not being there. So This one is just random paint and scratches from paintbrush. This is just newspaper, and it is just regular paint. This isn't acrylic or anything, because I think acrylics all very well, but you know, normal paint is easier to blend with. So I tried to blend it better. I think it's blended quite well around here, but then around here it hasn't really worked out very well. But it was meant to look like Alice in Wonderland in the modern times on this page, where it was a big building and then more of a business building, and then this was meant to be the tree, and this was where she'd sit, and here's like a little hole where she just fell through, which is zoomed in here, and then she falls through the hole, and then the door opens and she falls through. It's kind of just like a book version rather than a you know, I could have done it differently. I could have had like loads of pages with little pillars between each page to make it look more 3D, but I didn't want to waste pages, and it wasn't going to be a massive project. It was just something I was thinking about. So the next page where she falls through, it's quite a stiff page, is this one, which says trapped, and there's just again like black, white, and a bit blue this time. This one yellow, and that's kind of like a gunshot. It's meant to look basically like she's trapped, either emotionally or physically she's trapped. And there's rips, me and my rips, and yeah, this was an emotional piece, but this was also for that, so it was able to be two things. And I like to leave the text in some places just not messed with, so people can actually read through as if it was a storybook. So even though it means nothing towards it, but still. So the next page is this one. I can see myself putting my finger in that at some point. Yep, just did. This was, I don't know if you can see, maybe there are some like kind of, they're meant to look like tears, like dripping down the page as if someone was reading it, but from at this point of view. And it's using, it's like a gel kind of glue, which is really inexpensive, and it's just really good for sticking these things on and stuff. But for this one I had to write on here, because I think it would have given a mixed message if I just left it with this and this. So it says, me, I sleep. So this is the sleep, and then basically this is meant to look like a dream, the dream of what she's sleeping, because if obviously in a bed it wouldn't look like that, it'd just be a bed, but there's like red and different things going on, so it's meant to look like a dream. I guess it would have looked a bit better if I put a person in the bed, but I forgot. So I got me, I sleep, and obviously it's not just going to be a splatter of paper on there, it's just going to have to make it collaged. Then I wake. Why? And it might be a bit confusing to some people, but if you get the message, you're probably going to be my favourite person in the world, because no one tends to understand my artwork. So, but I'll just tell you, this one means that, like I said, she has a dream, or he, it's not really a specific gender, I'm just going to call it she, sleeps in a bed, and she's looking from it, so like she's seeing this as her dream, whilst in a dream of her bed like kind of from hell, you know, like we got some fire and that sort of color, and around it is kind of like mysterious and dark, so as if she's in a storm. And then you got the pillow with flying piece of feather or whatever you want to call it coming out of the bed, and then that's just to blend in, so it's just got some extra things there. And then when she wakes, because that's her dream, she's sleeping, and then when she wakes, it's kind of like the nightmare still happening, if you know what I mean. So she's got her pillow covered with tears, and yeah, so it's kind of like the imprint of the bed all of her life, so it's like the nightmare still happening. So that's what I'm trying to get out. But so yeah, I think having a story to tell or having an emotion to express is better in art than just drawing something that doesn't have a background to it, because sometimes those images don't turn out as powerful as one with a story behind it, if you know what I mean. So for example, artwork, I'm not saying artwork is bad without a story, some of it's really good, but generally I couldn't finish this side because I had nothing to motivate me. There was no story. It was just like, okay, I got the idea, the concept, but I can't carry on with it, if you know what I mean. So that's just me personally, though. I'm not speaking for everybody, because I ended up doing that side okay. Well, carried through with it and things. So, but for me, I just think personally, oh no, it's ripping. Personally, I think I do better with things that have a story behind them, or a train of thought, rather than just something random like that. Because unfortunately, it seems random isn't always the best for me. I mean, this was random, and it just makes no sense.